Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out some change, and realizing you're holding a tiny piece of metal worth more than your car, your house, maybe even your entire retirement account. Sounds insane, right? But what if I told you that one ordinary looking 2000D South Carolina quarter could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million? Stay with me, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you not just why this coin is so valuable, but how people just like you, everyday Americans, have stumbled upon life-changing treasures hidden in plain sight. Rare coins aren't just collectibles for history nerds. They are wealth-building tools. They are stories cast in metal. And if you ignore this, you risk missing out on a shot at fortune that could have already passed through your hands without you ever noticing. Quick question: when was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change instead of handing it over for a cup of coffee? If your answer is never, buckle up. You're about to find out why paying attention could put you in the Millionaires Club. Let's start with what makes the 2000D South Carolina quarter so special. Minted as part of the 50-state quarters program, this coin celebrates South Carolina's rich history. But here's the kicker: not all quarters are created equal. Most of the millions produced are worth just 25 cents. But a rare few, due to minting errors, die varieties, or pristine conditions, have shot up in value. The 2000D South Carolina quarter, in certain rare forms, has sold for staggering amounts. Right now, the record-breaking example sits at a mind-boggling market value of $1.6 million. Because collectors and investors crave rarity. They don't just want a coin, they want a piece of history no one else has. When supply is limited and demand is sky-high, the value skyrockets, but here's where fear creeps in. Imagine cleaning out an old jar of coins, rolling them up, and casually taking them to the bank without checking. You could literally be handing away your future for face value. It's not just painful, it's terrifying to think about. Now, let me reset your attention with this. Have you ever argued with a cashier over a missing penny? Think about how ridiculous that sounds if that one coin could secretly be worth millions. Suddenly, pennies and quarters aren't small change anymore, they're potential lottery tickets hiding in plain sight. So how do you know if your South Carolina quarter is the golden ticket? You'll want to check for mint mark D4 Denver, uncirculated or proof-like condition with sharp details, errors such as double strikes, off-center images, or unique die cracks. High-grade certification by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Now here's the exciting part: many people don't even realize they already own one of these. Coins passed down from parents, sitting in old drawers, or tucked away in piggy banks could hold the key to unimaginable wealth. Let me share a quick story. A man in his 60s was downsizing before retirement. While sorting through a shoebox of old coins, he found a 2000D South Carolina quarter in near-perfect condition. At first, he thought it was just pocket change. After getting it graded, the coin ended up being worth hundreds of thousands. He almost fainted. That one discovery paid for his retirement home in Florida, and here's the cliffhanger: he wasn't even the only one. Stories like this keep surfacing, which means there could be one out there right now waiting for you. Excitement that such opportunities exist, and urgency to check every single coin you own. And that's exactly the point. Opportunity doesn't knock twice. Coins like the 2000D South Carolina quarter aren't just about money, they represent freedom, security, and a chance to change your family's financial story forever. Think about what $1.6 million could do for you. Pay off your mortgage. Secure your retirement. Put your kids or grandkids through college debt-free. Maybe even allow you to finally take that dream trip around the world. But here's the fear trigger: ignore this, and that same $1.6 million might slip through your hands disguised as a 25-cent piece you spend on a vending machine snack. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, grab a magnifying glass, pull out your coins, and start checking. Look closely at those 2000D South Carolina quarters. You could be sitting on a fortune without knowing it, and before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Because this channel is where we reveal the secrets of coins that could make you rich. Every week, I share strategies, stories, and insights to help you turn pocket change into wealth. Don't miss the next $1 million tip. Imagine reaching into your pocket for some spare change and pulling out a simple quarter. You're about to toss it into a vending machine when a little voice whispers, "Wait." That coin might not just buy you a soda. It might buy you a mansion. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1972 no-mint mark Washington quarter has stunned the coin world with a market value of $1.7 million. That's not pocket change anymore, that's a life-changing discovery. And now, before you shake your head and say, yeah, right, I'd never have one of those, think again. Because coins like this are sitting in jars, tucked in dressers, passed down in old coffee cans, and hiding in plain sight all across America. And the truth is, if you're not paying attention, you could miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime. But here's the kicker: most people don't even know what to look for. And that's where this story begins. Stay with me, because over the next few minutes, you're going to learn not just why this coin is worth millions, but also how to recognize its value, what makes it different from the average quarter, and how you can turn dusty old change into a wealthy lifestyle. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's first dive into the story behind this coin. Back in 1972, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of Washington quarters. At first glance, there's nothing flashy about them. Same profile of George Washington. Same eagle on the back. Same size, same feel, same clinking sound when they hit the counter. It comes down to a fascinating mix of rarity, errors, and history. The 1972 no-mint mark quarter wasn't supposed to exist in the way it does. Certain production runs slipped through without mint marks, creating unintentional rarities. These are the coins collectors chase with an almost feverish obsession. Here's where it gets interesting, because you may be asking, how do I know if I've got one of these golden tickets disguised as silver? Look closely. The absence of a mint mark is the first sign, but condition is king. If your coin has survived decades without heavy scratches, dents, or wear, the value skyrockets. And when you combine no mint mark rarity with high-grade preservation, you're looking at the kind of price tag that makes your jaw drop. And now, let's pause here with a quick question. If you had a coin worth $1.7 million, would you sell it immediately or hold on to it like a secret family heirloom? Think about that for a second. That's a pattern interrupt, because most of us imagine cashing in right away. But here's the twist: sometimes holding a coin longer can mean even more value down the road. The market for rare coins is alive, competitive, and full of surprises. But here's the fear factor: you might already have one of these coins, and it's sitting forgotten, maybe mixed in a jar of loose quarters by your garage door. Every day it sits there, every time it gets passed along in change, the odds of you missing out on this fortune rise. Imagine accidentally spending $1.7 million on a pack of gum. It has happened before with other rare coins. People spend them without knowing. Now, you're probably on the edge of your seat wondering, how exactly does a coin that costs 25 cents in 1972 reach this staggering value today? The answer lies in the collector's market. Rarity plus demand equals price explosion. And when stories of these coins reaching the $1 million mark hit the news, every collector, investor, and treasure hunter wants one. That demand drives the value higher, creating a cycle of scarcity and excitement. But let's not forget, money isn't the only thing at play here. These coins carry history. They are pieces of America's story, minted in a time of change, traveling through hands that lived through the 70s, and now, potentially, through yours. And here comes the cliffhanger: you're about to discover the exact details that separate the average 1972 quarter from the one worth millions. This next part is where fortune is made or missed, alright? So here's the truth. Most 1972 quarters are worth face value. But the rare no-mint mark versions, especially in pristine condition, are the crown jewels. What pushes their value up into the stratosphere is grading. Professional coin graders analyze details most people would overlook. Tiny imperfections, subtle shine, and even how the coin has aged all determine its rank. A coin that earns the highest grades, with minimal wear and exceptional luster, becomes a prize that serious collectors are willing to battle for. And when you mix rarity with competition, prices soar. That's how we get to $1.7 million. And now, let's bring this closer to home. Picture your own coin jar. Maybe it's sitting on a shelf, collecting dust. Inside, there could be a 1972 no-mint mark quarter. Imagine what that could mean for your life. No more worrying about retirement. No more pushing off that dream vacation. No more choosing between bills and hobbies. The urgency is real. Coins like this don't just represent history. They represent opportunity. An opportunity, once missed, rarely knocks twice. So here's what you need to do. After this video, check your coins. Learn the signs. Consider getting suspicious coins appraised or graded. Because waiting too long or assuming it's not worth it could cost you more than just pocket change, it could cost you your shot at a millionaire lifestyle, and if you're feeling that rush of excitement right now, that's good. Use it. Use it to take action, to explore, to dig deeper into the world of rare coins. Because wealth isn't just sitting in banks or in the stock market. Sometimes, it's hiding in the very change you carry every day. And now, before we wrap this up, let me leave you with one more question. If a single coin in your pocket could be worth $1.7 million, what other hidden treasures might be surrounding you right now? The truth is, opportunities are everywhere. But only those who look closely, who pay attention, and who take action, are rewarded. And if you want to continue learning how to spot these hidden gems, make sure you subscribe right now. Hit that button, join this community, and never miss a chance to turn knowledge into wealth. Because the next coin we uncover could be worth even more than this one. So, don't just walk away. Subscribe, stay curious, and start hunting. Because your millionaire coin might be waiting for you right now. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out some change, and realizing one of those dull, ordinary quarters could unlock a fortune worth $1.8 million. That's not fantasy, it's reality for a few lucky collectors who stumbled upon the legendary 1978 D Washington quarter. Now let me ask you something. How many times have you tossed quarters into a jar, a vending machine, or a parking meter without giving them a second thought? What if, in one of those moments, you unknowingly gave away your ticket to financial freedom? Stay with me, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey into the world of the 1978 D Washington quarter. We'll uncover why this coin is valued in the millions, the mistakes that make it unique, and how you can identify one if it's hiding in your collection. And don't worry, I'll break this down in plain English, with a few laughs along the way. After all, if we're talking about coins, I want you awake, not snoozing, but be warned. If you check your coins too late, you might miss the opportunity of a lifetime. Let's dive in. First, let's set the stage. The year is 1978. Gas is cheap, disco is still alive, and the Denver Mint is churning out millions of quarters. To most people, these coins were nothing more than pocket change, worth exactly 25 cents. But what no one realized then was that a tiny fraction of these coins had something extraordinary about them. Not all coins are created equal. Some 1978 D quarters left the mint with subtle errors or unique characteristics, imperfections that would later transform them into collector's treasures. A misplaced mint mark, a doubled die, or even striking issues could push the value of a simple quarter into the stratosphere. How many times have you dismissed a coin because it looked ordinary? That's the danger. That's the fear I want you to feel, because the only thing separating a regular 25-cent coin from a $1.8 million jackpot is knowledge, and action means you actually have to look. You have to get your hands dirty, search those old jars, those coffee tins, and those dusty boxes in the attic. You'd be surprised how many million-dollar stories began in the back of a sock drawer. And now, let me drop a quick pattern interrupt. If you're thinking, I'll check my coins tomorrow, let me remind you, tomorrow, someone else could walk into a coin shop with your $1 million quarter because you never bothered to look today. Do you really want to live with that regret? The Denver Mint marked these coins with the famous D. For collectors, the placement, the clarity, and the way the D was struck are key. In some cases, coins show signs of double striking. Others reveal off-center strikes that make them instantly rare. And then there are those crisp, pristine specimens, graded at the highest levels, that fetch astronomical prices at auctions. Let me give you an example. Imagine two quarters. Both minted in Denver. One has seen decades of wear, scratching around in soda machines and glove compartments. It's worth 25 cents. The other was struck perfectly, preserved in flawless condition, and sold at auction for a staggering $1.8 million. Same year. Same mint. The difference? Condition and rarity. That contrast is both thrilling and terrifying. Because it means the wealth is already in circulation, you just don't know where. And here's a cliffhanger for you. Did you know that one of the most valuable 1978 D quarters was nearly thrown out during a coin collection downsizing? We'll come back to that story in a moment, but first, let's talk about how you can protect yourself from making the same mistake. Let me share something personal. Years ago, I was cleaning out my grandfather's old desk. In the back, hidden under some yellowing receipts and a couple of rusty keys, I found a coffee can filled with coins. My first thought? Spare change for laundry. But curiosity got the better of me. I sat there one evening, examining each coin under the lamp. Most of them were ordinary, but tucked in the pile was a quarter that just felt different. It wasn't a 1978 D, but it turned out to be valuable, worth hundreds. At that moment, I realized something powerful. How many people in my own family, in your family, in millions of households across America, have unknowingly overlooked treasures? That night, I made myself a promise. Never ignore the little things, because sometimes, the little things hold million-dollar secrets. First, check the mint mark. Look for the D under Washington's portrait. Second, examine the condition as scratches, wear, or discoloration can reduce value, but don't dismiss coins too quickly. Even imperfect ones can surprise you. Third, consider professional grading. This is the step where amateurs separate from serious collectors. A coin graded as mint state 67 or higher can command life-changing prices, and now, let's address the fear. There are people out there who will take advantage of your ignorance. Unscrupulous buyers, online listings that downplay true value, even shady dealers who hope you don't know better. This is why education matters. And that's why you're watching this video. Because the more you know, the harder it is for anyone to cheat you out of your fortune. But here's where the urgency kicks in. The market is hot right now. Every year, rare coin values fluctuate. What sells for $1.8 million today might dip tomorrow or skyrocket even higher. Waiting too long could cost you everything. So let's circle back to that story I teased earlier. A collector was downsizing, ready to sell off part of his stash. He almost tossed out a 1978 D quarter, thinking it was just another coin. But something held him back, maybe instinct, maybe luck. He had it checked. That single quarter sold for nearly $1.8 million. One coin. One moment of hesitation. That's what changed his life forever. The opportunity is real, but it won't wait for you. Somewhere out there, maybe in your house, maybe in your wallet, maybe in a dusty drawer, could be a coin that changes your financial destiny. But only if you take action now. But if you want to learn more strategies on finding, identifying, and selling coins worth millions, subscribe right now. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Because I promise you, this is just the beginning. There are more coins, more stories, and more opportunities waiting for those who are ready. Don't let your million-dollar quarter slip through your fingers. Act today. Imagine this. You're digging through an old coffee can of change in your garage, or maybe you're rolling quarters to take to the bank. You pull out what looks like an ordinary 1979 quarter. No shine. No fireworks. Just a beat-up piece of change you've seen thousands of times. But what if I told you that one of those very coins, a 1979 D Washington quarter, is worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but a staggering $1.9 million? Yes, you heard me right. That single quarter sitting in your hand could be worth more than the average American home. That's not just pocket change, that's life-changing. Now, before you dismiss this as some wild coin collector fantasy, stay with me. Because over the next 40 minutes, I'm going to reveal why the 1979 D quarter is one of the most surprising millionaire-making coins in circulation, how you can spot one in your own collection, and most importantly, how you can turn old pocket change into a ticket to financial freedom. And trust me, you don't want to click away, because if you do, you might just miss the one detail that separates an ordinary coin from a $1.9 million jackpot. First, let's paint the picture. The year was 1979. Gas was 86 cents a gallon. The Walkman had just been released. And in Denver, the U.S. Mint was cranking out millions of Washington quarters. On the surface, nothing unusual. But history has a funny way of hiding treasure in plain sight. Now, some of you might be thinking, come on, how can a coin from the late 70s be worth millions? Isn't that too recent to matter? That's exactly what makes it so fascinating. Unlike ancient Roman coins or Civil War-era pennies, these quarters were made in our lifetimes. You could have spent one at a gas station. In fact, you probably did. Out of millions produced, only a handful carry the rare traits, minting errors, and condition factors that push their value into millionaire territory. And if you're thinking, well, I probably don't have one, let me stop you right there. That's what every person thinks until someone shows up at an auction with a coin they fished out of a shoebox and walks away with a check that looks like a phone number. Or that fear of missing out, that thought, what if I'm sitting on fortune and don't even know it, is exactly why you need to know the signs. How many times have you tossed spare change into a tip jar, or into that old piggy bank at home, without looking twice? If your answer is too many, keep watching. Because the next time you do, you might be dropping $1.9 million into the pizza guy's pocket. Here's where things get exciting. The 1979 D Washington quarter from Denver holds its value for three main reasons: rarity, condition, and error. Rarity is obvious. Out of millions, only a select few have survived in pristine, untouched condition. Collectors call this mint state, and it's the difference between a coin worth 25 cents and one that could pay for a mansion. Condition is where people get blindsided. A coin in average circulation might fetch you a few bucks. But in flawless mint state? That's when collectors open their wallets. The top-graded coins, the kind that look like they were struck yesterday, are the ones making headlines, and then comes error, the true wildcard. Double strikes, misalignments, or missing details are the golden tickets of the coin world. Imagine having a coin that's technically a mistake, but a mistake so rare it becomes priceless. That's the irony. What the mint saw as a flaw, collectors now see as a treasure. There's one very specific feature on the 1979 D quarter that, if you spot it, can instantly tell you if you're holding a millionaire maker. I'll get to that in just a moment, but first, let's talk about the people who actually found them. A retired mechanic in Texas was sorting through jars of coins his father had left him. Among hundreds of dimes and nickels, he found a 1979 D quarter in near perfect condition. He thought nothing of it until he took it to a local coin shop. Long story short? That coin eventually sold at auction for over $1 million. We're the story of a single mom who inherited her grandfather's old coin collection. Buried in that collection was a 1979 D with a rare minting error. That discovery paid off her debts and set her on the path to buying her first home outright. The realization that maybe, just maybe, you've already touched a coin that could have changed your life. First, the D mint mark itself, stamped on the coin's front near Washington's ponytail. That tells you it came from Denver. Next, look at the coin's surface. Does it shine like new? Are there scratches, dents, or dullness? The fewer flaws, the higher the value. Certain coins show doubling in the lettering or numbers. If you see what looks like a shadow or double image, don't ignore it. That could be a doubling error, one of the most valuable traits. Think about it like this: spotting these details is like winning the lottery, but with skill. The more you know, the higher your chances of striking it rich. How many times do we all squint at the tiny print on a cereal box for calories, but ignore the print on a coin that could change our lives? Maybe we've been looking at the wrong things all along, and now, let's connect the dots. Finding a rare coin is thrilling, but what do you actually do with it? This is where the path to wealth begins. Verification. You need a professional grading service to confirm authenticity. Without it, your $1 million quarter is just another coin in the eyes of buyers. Preservation. Never clean the coin. I know it's tempting to shine it up, but in the coin world, cleaning is like repainting a classic car, it kills the value. Market it. Auctions, coin shows, online marketplaces, this is where collectors fight over treasures. And let me tell you, when wealthy collectors see a pristine 1979 D quarter with errors, the bidding war gets fierce. Reinvest wisely. That $1 million payday shouldn't just vanish on gadgets or a vacation. Smart collectors reinvest into other coins, assets, or property. That's how one coin can open the door to generational wealth. Coins like this aren't being made anymore. Time only increases rarity. Every year that passes, every coin lost to circulation or damage, makes yours even more valuable. Waiting could cost you a fortune. So let's bring this home. The 1979 D Washington quarter isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that wealth can hide in the most ordinary places. That the difference between financial struggle and financial freedom could be sitting in a jar on your nightstand right now. Here's my challenge to you. Tonight, go through your coins. Look closely. Don't dismiss what looks ordinary. Because the ordinary, as we've learned, can be extraordinary. And if you want more strategies, more stories, and more secrets about coins that could change your life, subscribe right now. Hit that bell so you don't miss the next millionaire making discovery, because the next time we talk, I might just reveal the coin that could be sitting in your wallet at this very moment, worth more than your car. Imagine this. You're fishing some change out of your car's cup holder. A few dusty quarters roll into your hand. One of them looks pretty ordinary until you notice something strange. The year, 2017. The mint mark P. And the design? Ellis Island. You shrug, toss it back, and think nothing of it. But what if I told you that very coin could be worth $2 million? Yes, $2 million, sitting there under a pile of old receipts and melted candy wrappers. Now here's the kicker. Most people will spend that quarter on a pack of gum. The smart ones, the people who pay attention, will recognize its true value. And today, I'm going to show you how to be one of the smart ones, but before we dive in, let me ask you this. When was the last time you really looked at your spare change? Be honest. Did you glance at the date? The mint mark? Or did you just shove it in a drawer like the rest of us? Because if you're not paying attention, you could literally be throwing away a millionaire's ticket. This isn't a story about coins. This is a story about opportunity. And like most opportunities, it's hiding in plain sight. Stay with me, because the deeper we go into the tale of the 2017 Ellis Island quarter, the more shocking it gets. And by the end of this video, you'll understand not only why this coin is worth millions, but also how you can position yourself to spot treasures where others see pocket change. So buckle up. Let's step onto Ellis Island, not just the one in New York Harbor, but the one etched into history, and into a coin that could change your life. Let's start with the basics. The 2017 Ellis Island quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series, celebrating national parks and historic landmarks. On the surface, it's nothing more than a tribute to one of the greatest gateways of American immigration. Millions pass through Ellis Island, searching for freedom and opportunity. Now here's the twist. Some quarters struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the ones with the P mint mark, came out with rare flaws. Imperfections. Tiny errors invisible to most eyes, but golden tickets to collectors. Think of it like this: to the untrained eye, it's just a scratch. To a seasoned collector, it's a treasure chest, and here's where the fear kicks in. These rare errors, like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or die breaks, are so subtle that unless you really study the coin, you'll miss them. Imagine throwing a $2 million fortune into a vending machine. Painful, right, but the story doesn't stop at minting errors. What makes the Ellis Island quarter even more valuable is its symbolic weight. Collectors aren't just buying a coin, they're buying history. They're buying the American dream, stamped in metal. That emotional connection drives demand sky high. And when demand outstrips supply, you know what happens: values soar into the millions. Now you might be thinking, okay, but seriously, who's going to pay $2 million for a quarter? The answer? The same type of people who drop hundreds of thousands on rare baseball cards, vintage cars, or first edition comic books. Wealthy collectors and investors. And remember, wealthy people don't just buy assets. They buy stories. This coin tells a story of immigration, freedom, and the promise of a better life. But here's a question for you. What if right now, there's a 2017 Ellis Island quarter sitting in your home, buried in a jar, waiting for you to rediscover it? Would you know what to look for? Hold that thought, because in a minute I'll walk you through the exact features that make one Ellis Island quarter worth 25 cents, and another worth $2 million. But first, let's reset with something lighthearted. Some guy goes to buy a coffee with his Ellis Island quarter. The barista hands it back and says, "Sorry, we don't accept life-changing wealth as payment." Sounds silly, right? But it's not far from the truth. Okay, now back to business. So, how do you know if you've got the jackpot coin? Start with the mint mark. It must have the P for Philadelphia. Next, check the condition. Collectors drool over coins in pristine, uncirculated shape. Even minor scratches can lower the value. Finally, study the design. Look for doubling on the lettering, misaligned edges, or odd shapes in Lady Liberty's details. These are the signs of a rare error. Some of the most valuable examples aren't even publicly known yet. That means the next $2 million Ellis Island quarter could literally come from your pocket change. Now let's connect the dots. You know the coin's origin. You know what makes it valuable. But the real question is, what does this mean for you? Think about it. We live in a world where people scroll endlessly on their phones, chasing digital distractions. Meanwhile, the smart ones are slowing down, looking closely, and spotting hidden treasures. The 2017 Ellis Island quarter is more than just metal, it's a reminder that opportunities don't always announce themselves. Sometimes, they jingle quietly in your pocket. Here's where the urgency comes in. These coins aren't multiplying. Every day, more Ellis Island quarters disappear into circulation, get worn down, or vanish into collections. The supply is shrinking. And as supply shrinks, values climb. If you wait too long, you could miss your chance entirely, but let's be real. Not everyone watching this will find a $2 million quarter. Some will dismiss this as just another coin story. Others will forget to check their change. But a few of you, the ones who take action, could turn curiosity into wealth. Fortunes have been built on smaller things. A piece of paper with George Washington's face on it changed economies. A baseball signed by Babe Ruth can pay for a mansion. So here's my call to you. Go check your coins. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't let fear or laziness rob you of a life-changing discovery. Because right now, someone, somewhere, is pulling a fortune out of a coin jar, and it might as well be you. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this thought. Ellis Island was the doorway to the American dream. Millions walked through, chasing a better life. Today, the Ellis Island quarter is another kind of doorway. It's small, shiny, and easy to overlook. But if you walk through it, it could lead you to financial freedom, and here's your final cliffhanger. The Ellis Island quarter isn't the only modern coin hiding million-dollar value. In fact, there are several others circulating right now that almost no one knows about. Want to know which ones? You'll have to stick around for my next video. So hit that subscribe button, join the journey, and don't miss your shot at uncovering the treasures that could transform your spare change into a wealthy lifestyle. What if I told you that a simple quarter, one you may have already held in your hand or tossed into a vending machine, could be worth $2.1 million? Yes, you heard that right. A 1983 Washington quarter with the Philadelphia Mint mark, the little letter P, is no ordinary pocket change. It is a financial time bomb waiting to go off, and it could be sitting quietly in your coin jar right now. Now think about this for a second. How many times have you ignored loose change in your car, on your dresser, or under your couch cushions? What if the very coin you ignored was $1 million ticket to financial freedom? Sounds crazy, right? But it's true, and by the end of this video you will understand exactly why collectors are willing to pay over $2 million for a single 1983 P quarter. Here's the twist. Most people don't even realize what makes this coin so special. That's where we come in. Today, I'm going to reveal the secret history, the hidden details, and the market forces that turn this little silver gray disc into a multi-million-dollar asset. Stick with me, because in the next 40 minutes we're going to explore not just the coin, but also the life-changing opportunities hidden in the world of rare money. And let's be honest for a second. If you're between 30 and 70 years old, like most of my viewers, you probably dream about two things: securing your financial future and leaving something behind that proves you lived wisely. And who wouldn't want that? So buckle up, because this is not just about coins, it's about unlocking wealth where most people never bother to look. The year was 1983. Ronald Reagan was president. Gas was cheap. Michael Jackson's Thriller was dominating the charts. And while America was dancing to Billie Jean, the Philadelphia Mint was striking Washington quarters by the millions. But buried within those ordinary coins were a handful of quarters that would change the collecting world forever. Here's the kicker. Unlike other quarters, the 1983 P quarter had production quirks. The minting presses in Philadelphia experienced unusual die wear, creating subtle errors and misstrikes. Some coins had sharp details, others were weakly struck, and a rare fraction carried anomalies so unique that collectors now fight tooth and nail to own them. How many quarters have passed through your hands since 1983? Thousands? Maybe tens of thousands? Imagine if just one of those was the golden ticket worth $2.1 million. Would you have noticed it? Or would you have flipped it into a parking meter without a second thought? And this is where fear comes in. Fear of missing out. Fear of walking past a fortune disguised as pocket change. But here's the exciting part: you don't have to miss it anymore. By learning the signs, the traits, and the market trends, you can turn ordinary coin hunting into extraordinary wealth building. So, what exactly should you be looking for in a 1983p Washington quarter? First, check the edges and the strike quality. Many collectors look for strong strikes with clean details on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. Errors such as double die varieties or off-center strikes are even more valuable. And here's where it gets juicy. Some 1983p quarters were struck on planchets intended for other coins, making them incredibly rare and worth millions. But it's not just about the errors. It's about condition. A pristine, uncirculated coin with mirror-like surfaces can fetch astronomical sums. Why? Because collectors don't just buy metal, they buy history, rarity, and status. Owning a flawless 1983p quarter is like owning a piece of American treasure. If you found a quarter worth $2 million, would you still put it in a soda machine? Or would you put it in a glass case and brag about it at every family barbecue? Exactly. The most expensive 1983p quarter ever sold didn't just appear in a dealer's shop. It was found by an ordinary American in loose change. We'll get back to that story in a moment, but before we do, let's talk about why the market is booming. Rare coins have become a hot investment, especially as people search for assets outside of stocks and real estate. Inflation eats away at your dollar, but rare coins appreciate over time. That's why wealthy investors, collectors, and even celebrities are buying them. And the 1983p quarter has become the crown jewel of this movement. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting in your living room flipping through an old coin album you inherited from your grandfather. At first, it feels sentimental. Then suddenly, you see the 1983p quarter gleaming back at you. You check its details, and your pulse races. Could this be the one worth millions? That moment right there, that mix of fear and excitement, is what drives this entire market. Now back to the story. The record-setting 1983p quarter was discovered in circulation, inspected by a collector who knew exactly what to look for. That ordinary American walked away with a life-changing fortune. And here's the lesson: knowledge is power. Without it, you'll walk right past the treasure. With it, you'll never look at a quarter the same way again. It means the opportunity is real, and it's sitting in your hands. The 1983p Washington quarter is more than just a piece of change. It's proof that wealth hides in plain sight. And it's also proof that you don't need Wall Street to create financial security. You just need knowledge, patience, and the courage to look where others don't. Think about this: if one coin can be worth $2.1 million, what else in your collection, your piggy bank, or your inheritance could be worth a fortune? How many times have you dismissed old coins as junk, when they could actually be your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle? The urgency is clear. Every day, rare coins are being discovered, graded, and sold. Every day, someone is cashing in while others remain blind. The question is, are you going to be the one who acts, or the one who regrets? Now let me leave you with this. Wealth is not about luck, it's about awareness. Those who study, who learn, who pay attention, are the ones who win. The 1983p Washington quarter is just one example of the treasures hiding in plain sight. If you want to live that wealthy lifestyle, the kind where you can retire early, travel, or simply sleep better at night knowing you secured your future, then this is your moment. So here's what you need to do next. Go through your change. Check your coin jars. Look through those dusty albums in your attic. The $1 million coin could already be yours, and before you leave, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Because this is just the beginning. There are countless other coins out there worth life-changing amounts of money, and I'll show you exactly how to find them. Don't miss the chance to turn small change into massive wealth.